Well, good morning, everybody. Today we are working on these Disney clocks. At least I'm going to be working on this one here. On these, let's see, it's a, I can't see it to it. I think it says MI/KEN clock, Meakin clock. Anyway, I think these came out possibly the very early 70s, and I don't know if they were ever sold here in the United States, but most of the people that were in the service bought these from overseas and brought them home and gave them to their kids or whatever. Now, my dad was in the service and he bought 3 of them, and these aren't them. They're long gone, I do believe, but they came in a box like this. And for value, I guess these boxes are valuable without the clock. And they had 3 different ones. This one here is in mint condition. I don't have to do anything with it. I don't know for sure. Well, I'd say by the dust on it, someone hung it up once, maybe wound it for a week and then decided to just put it away. Maybe they used it as a Christmas ornament, I don't know. But what's nice about these clocks, I'm not going to show you on this one, but this Mickey Mouse one here, you can see how his eyes move back and forth. That was a cool thing about these clocks. Now these clocks also, they have the full deal. It came with this pink colored weight with a gold brushing on it. And you can kind of tell it's vintage by looking at this place where the weight hooks onto the hook. And the other unique thing about these clocks, which I've never seen any others like it, but they have this neon green, I guess we'd call that, plexiglass or plastic pendulum with a little metal bobber. That's how you adjust it. And when you adjust it, you just snug it up. You don't even snug it hardly, because these things will just bend big time, which is, as you can see, this one's a little crooked. So what you could do is move this bobber over onto this side and then re-snug it, but don't snug it as tight. And this one obviously needs cleaned up big time. And this clock on the outside needs cleaned up big time. And by the looks of the works, I'm not going to have to do anything with it, but I'm going to go ahead and clean them up a bit anyway. Where's that pendulum? See how the eyes work there? And they need adjusted. But like I say, this clock is filthy. We're going to clean it up, and I'm planning on using just a soapy water on the face. You got to be careful because it does have age to it. I see there's already a crack on the foot, so you have to be careful with these clocks. So anyway, I guess we'll say, let's get at her. Okay, here's my cleaning fluid. I'm just going to set this down in there. I'm going to do it quick because I don't have the door open. Just pop it in there. I think on this clock, I'm going to go ahead and do these chains too and see how, oh Lord, how they come out. Okay, it's in there. So let's leave that set for a couple hours and come back to it. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do for cleaning up this pendulum, see it's filthy. I'm going to go ahead and just throw that in the water right now. this here weight, I think I'm going to throw it in the water too and use or it's not a weight, it's a plumb bob or pen. It's a bob. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the water, scrub it down a little bit, then I'm going to use a hair dryer to dry it off. Now the Mickey Mouse, I'm going to go ahead and start with just a washcloth and try to clean them up the best I can. I notice it's got sticky stuff in here. So I'm not sure who had the clock or what, but most of these clocks, I can say they were for kids, and you know what kids do with their toys and stuff, so that's why you don't see these around much. So be careful because this is plastic. This is just dishwater soap I'm using. I'll try to get the heavy stuff off, then I might take the toothbrush to it and do a little more scrubbing to it. I also have some Q-tips so I can get down in around by the eyes and whatnot. You want to leave, this here is a sticker on here. You want to leave any stickers like that that promote the clock, which just does say the Walt Disney Productions on it. Okay, I'll go ahead and wet this toothbrush and try doing some scrubbing. I don't want to take this clock apart any further than I have to. I mean, I could probably take this face off. It wouldn't be a heart attack, but like I say, this here, you really got to be careful. A long time dust and dirt on the numbers. Oh, while I'm thinking about it, I probably should go ahead and take these hands, get them soaking in the water. There we go. Alright. Oops. I dipped in the water. Get that little wipe down. Looks better than what it did. Okay, let's the toothbrush. Try to scrub some of these other areas that look like they need special attention. So all these clocks that are sitting out, it depends how close it is to the kitchen too, because for some reason, well, it's probably because they never get dusted, but most of your clocks and whatnot, if they're close to the kitchen, suck up all that grease and stuff from cooking, especially back in the older days. This has got several cracks. There's a crack on the foot there, crack on here, here, and here on this foot. It takes away from the value a little bit, but still, from what I can see, these clocks are running about $75 a piece and up. It depends on your condition. If this clock over here that I showed you with the dog, I forgot the name of the movie that it took after, but if that thing was to be sold the way it sits right now, which has everything in it, by the looks of it, it's hardly been used, there's a chance on eBay you can get $125 to $200 depending on, well, it depends on who wants to bid on it. But also there's clock collectors out there that value those boxes also almost more than the clock. Maybe it's because normally you took the clock out and you threw the box away and hung the clock up. You know what, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take them eyeballs out of there. Let's wipe this down, because those eyeballs need cleaning big time. And to take them out, there again, we have 2 Phillips screws in here, because these eyes are up on the plate. Now this clock is also missing its back piece, but when you buy them online and if you get them for a good deal, you just have to deal with it. Okay, I got the eyes out. I'll show them to you later. It's starting to look freaky. Okay, so now I can get in here and clean these eyes a little bit better without worrying about damaging the actual eyeball. Got a spot on here I just don't like. It is just stuck on there. It's starting to come off, but there's a spot right there. Don't know what that is. Feels like, I hate to say it, feels like food. Or maybe I should put it another way. I hope that's food. Yeah, I'm getting out of the camera. Okay, I think that looks pretty good considering. So let's take a look at, let's just give it a quick wipe down where the work's set. Anyway, I'm going to have to make the board that slides in here, slides all the way up, and then there was a screw that went through, it attached right there. Then up above here was the metal ring that you hung the clock from. So I'm going to have to make that later. My wildest guess is, I can look at the other clock, there's probably another Disney sticker there. There's the eyes, and when they're hung up right, but you can see how dirty they are. And so that is why I've got Q-tips. Oops, I get another one over here. 2 more. I'm gonna try my best to get them to clean up. Looks like it's doing a pretty good job so far. These eyes will pop out of their socket. Maybe I should, just to show you. You can just, they're not screwed in, they're just 2 pegs. And carefully lift the one peg up and slide it out. Of course, it's hooked on this wire here. I think we'll do one at a time, so I can get in here and clean this real good. This is that same type of plastic, a little bit thinner, so don't get carried away with it. And this is hollow. It's got a, I don't know if that's paper backing or what this is. Could be another piece of plastic. It's almost like a microphone, if you can hear this. Okay, so there's one of them. That's a lot cleaner than it was. So let's get it back on here. So let's go ahead and pull this one out now. Make it a little easier. I use my pliers to hold it. There we go. Let's see how filthy that thing is. So let's just use this other side of the Q-tip. Start rubbing the dirt right off of it. I'm surprised these are cleaning up so easily. Well, I shouldn't have said anything until after I got it cleaned up. But actually, it's coming out pretty good. When you take these off, pay attention because the little metal rod on both sides, it's in further and sticking out further there. The way I was looking at it is there's a wire that comes up on the eyeball, and I knew that was pointing up, so that's what I kind of judged mine on. Okay, there it is. Clean as I want to get it, and I'm not going to bother adjusting the eyes until they get into the clock because you're going to be messing it up anyway. So let's go ahead and install the eyes again where they were. Right spots. Let me go ahead and snug these down. And check it one more time. That doesn't look bad at all. Okay, now let's wait for the works to get done cleaning, soaking or whatever, and we'll be right back. Okay, let's get to our parts. Let's give this pendulum a little bit of a scrub. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. It does have marks on here from them screwing it too tight onto the pendulum. Not too bad. It's scratched up on the front. So this clock has ran for a while, which is nice they used it. But this here was, for some reason, was, I'm going to guess, hitting on the weight. That's why it's all scratched up here. So we'll dry that in a minute. The hair dryer. I haven't looked, but if you can get if you need to replace them, you might be able to get a hand without the little hole in it and file it out or carve it out to fit where it needs to on the gear. Like I say, that's kind of oblong. Okay, it's not raining right now, so I have this outside because this here is some strong cleaning fluid. Try to get in everywhere you can where this thing moves. This here winder builds with dust because it's an open clock. It's December. And you still hear them hummingbirds out here. They'll stay here all year long. Let's just set this over here for now and scrub this gear that sits down on there. Now let's fish out the chain if we can find it. I got it. Yep. Didn't come sparkling, as I remember these didn't come out gold colored anyway. So let's take the stuff in the house and wash it off with clean water, and then we wash it off with soapy water. That's hot. Okay, that's chain. The hour hand and gear. Nice and shiny. Okay, let's take these out and dry them in with a hair dryer. And it's always good to, when you have this in your sink, move them bubbles out of the way. Take a look and see if there's any parts that fell off your clock by accident before you drain it. Okay, let's start the drying process with this first. That's about all it takes. So let me get my good oiler. This is my good oiler. This here moves up in and out so I can pump the oil and then suck it back in when I'm ready to. Compared to a cheap oiler where you need to squeeze some of the air out and then tip it and just get a dot on there. Then you gotta let this go to have it try to suck back up, but have a Kleenex ready. So anyway, on here, where each one of these gears or each one of these spots are, any moving part, you want to put a drop of oil and then take the oil back off, because you don't want this thing loaded with oil. All that does is sucks up the dust. So you can see what I'm doing. I got that one already. Suck as much of that oil back up as you can. Get the oil all the way around it. Suck it back up. Go back on this side here. Didn't oil right here. This here helps keep this plate here helps keep the chain on there. It was crooked and I bent it up a little bit so it doesn't grab the chain as you're trying to wind it. So now let's go ahead and get this installed. And we're not going to, it doesn't hurt if you have a tissue, go ahead and dab where each one of those spots are that you oiled, because like I say, anything oily, the dust will be like a magnet to it. So I'll be right back after I get myself a Kleenex. Okay, I got myself a Kleenex. Like I say, I'm going to dab everywhere that I put oil, to try to make sure I don't have any lingering in here any more than I have to. Move the Kleenex around so you have a fresh hit when you're sucking up the oil. So here I'm going to put a drop of oil or two and leave here, if I can get it on there. Because this hour hand gear needs a slide on here. So now it doesn't turn because it locks into the wheel. It's on the chain. Like I say, these are a very cheap works that they put in these clocks, because I do believe they meant it more of a toy, even though these will keep time. So let's go ahead and try to keep that on there. It's going to fall off probably. I got it on there. Let's get this lined up and pop the screws in, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I got the works in. This one gear operates hour hand. It feels good, it's staying in where it's supposed to. Now the next thing is to install the wire to the eyes. Don't get carried away with this thing. It is a bit difficult. There we go. So to set the eyes, get the pendulum area held so it's straight. And you can see the eyes are probably off now. Let me hold this. So you want those eyes to be looking straight forward when the pendulum wire is straight up and down. And the only thing you have to do is that there are wires in here that you can bend on their eyeballs. The wires just stick up. You just carefully bend them a little bit so it all kind of lines up. Let's take a look at it now. So one eye is off a little bit. There, he doesn't look too bad now. But you can see the wires up in there. Okay, so we have his eyeballs fixed and whatnot. Now for the chain, just like a cuckoo clock, let me untangle this thing first. Okay, just like the cuckoo clock, take both the rings off so you have nothing but chain. Save the one piece of chain that you just warped. Now you want to do is find out which way the winder winds. It's winding up through and around this way. So I need to push the chain in here and get it started around there. Okay, it's holding on its own. Now I need to operate this winder. As it's going in, I need to bring the clock around this way so the chain doesn't go up through and get stuck in other gears. There it is. Need my other screwdriver to pull it through. And it's got magnetism on it. I know. I use my pliers to push it through. So there we go. Okay, now that we have that, we know that the part that's pulling, still pulling, that is the one that gets the single ring that we just took off the one end, because it's meant to not go back up inside the clock. It's supposed to just stop if you forgot to wind it. Get it all kind of lined up. So that one's done. So now we can go to the other end. And get our little link that we saved, hook it on there. And then go ahead and hook up your weight side that has the hook on it. And do the same thing, just bend it down to where it's going to touch the other one. Try to keep it looking nice. Okay, so this clock, let's see where we at on our one bending. Okay, right now I'm at 50-50 on the chain. I need to build the back for this, and then I do have a metal deal here that I can put on here that's meant for clocks, so it can be you hang it on a nail on the wall. In the meantime, this pendulum needs to be put back together again. I think I'm going to put it on backwards because it's bent. This is fitting pretty tight already. Let me pick that piece up that fell on the floor that screws it on. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. I'm not going to be screwing it on there tight. Well, especially because once I get this clock running, I got to try to get it to be operating on the proper time. So let's go ahead and install these hands. This hour hand, it doesn't matter where you stick it, just set it on there. The minute hand is the one you need to worry about first. Try to find out where, let's see. There we go, I got it down on its little oblong looking thing. Put the nut back on. Don't get carried away. Cinch it down just a little bit. Now what I like to do, as you can see here, I have it on 12 o'clock. So I'll take that hour hand, I'm going to push it down. This way I know I have it lined up with the minute hand properly. So now I have it. So when I put it over here on the hour, that hour hand is on the hour. So I guess the next thing I can do is have the back made, and then I can finish this video and get it up for you guys to take a look at.